Imagine you are sitting quietly, enjoying a moment of peace, but then, out of nowhere, a thought creeps in. It could be something from your past, a small mistake you made, or a worry about the future. Before you know it, that thought begins to grow, turning into a cloud of negativity that clouds your mind. Have you ever felt like this? Like one simple thought can steal your calm and leave you feeling overwhelmed? Now, think about your daily life. How often do you find yourself carrying negative thoughts or emotions? Maybe it's frustration from a difficult conversation, anger from an unfair situation, or sadness from something that didn't go your way. All these feelings, although they seem small at first, can build up and have a huge impact on your peace of mind. Have you ever wondered why it's so hard to let go of these feelings? This is what we call negative energy in the mind. It's not something we can always see, but it's there, affecting our thoughts, our relationships, and even our health. The good news is, this energy doesn't have to control you. In fact, Buddhism teaches us that we have the power to clear this energy, to let go of the past, and to embrace peace and positivity in our minds. Here on Wisdom Woven, we dive deep into powerful Buddhist teachings that can transform the way you think, feel, and live. But before we go further, I want to ask you something. Did you know that while many people watch our videos, only a tiny percentage of viewers actually subscribe to the channel? If you're finding value in this video, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and most importantly, subscribe. Your support means the world to us, and we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Stay with us through this video as we explore how to clear away that heavy, negative energy and replace it with peace and clarity. Together, let's begin this journey toward a freer, more positive mind. The root of suffering, how attachment creates inner turmoil. You've heard the phrase, attachment is the root of suffering, but what does that really mean? Imagine that you've just bought something new. Perhaps it's a piece of clothing, a gadget, or even a new car. For a moment, you feel a rush of excitement. It's yours, and it feels great. But then, something happens. Over time, you begin to worry about it. You're afraid it might get damaged or lost. You become attached to it, holding on so tightly that your peace of mind starts to fade. This attachment isn't just about physical possessions. It's about the people, situations, and even emotions we cling to. When we attach ourselves to these things, believing that our happiness or peace depends on them, we create a kind of internal turmoil. The problem is, everything in life is temporary. Things break, people change, and situations shift. When we hold on too tightly to any of these, we set ourselves up for disappointment and pain. Let's talk about people for a moment. Perhaps there's someone in your life who you hold dear, someone you love deeply. Naturally, you want them to be happy, and you might think that your happiness depends on their happiness. But what happens when things go wrong? What happens when that person changes, or you lose them? Suddenly, your happiness crumbles, because you've been holding on to that relationship, that person, as the key to your peace. The same goes for our emotions. We often think that happiness is something we can hold on to forever. We want to feel good all the time, and when we don't, it feels like something is missing. We try to chase after those good feelings, clinging to them as if they're the answer to all our problems. But just like with people and things, emotions are fleeting. One moment we may feel joy, and the next, sadness or anger. When we chase after these fleeting moments, we end up caught in a cycle of emotional highs and lows. This constant cycle of attachment and clinging is what Buddhism calls samsara, the endless wheel of suffering. It's a wheel we all get caught in, often without realizing it. The truth is, we're all attached to something in some way. We're attached to our comfort, our routines, our sense of identity, and yes, even our worries. But what if there was another way? What if we could live without constantly being pulled by the things we hold on to? What if we could free ourselves from the chains of attachment? The Buddha taught us that the key to peace is not found in holding on to things, but in letting go. It's about understanding that everything is impermanent. When we accept that things will change, whether it's a relationship, a situation, or even a feeling, we free ourselves from the fear and anxiety that come with attachment. Letting go doesn't mean we stop caring. It means we stop clinging to the idea that we need things to stay the same in order to be happy. It means we allow ourselves to experience life as it is, in all its beauty and impermanence, without trying to hold on too tightly. When we begin to practice non-attachment, we start to experience freedom. We no longer feel as though we need to control everything around us to feel safe or at peace. We begin to trust that, no matter what happens, we can handle it. And in doing so, we begin to cultivate a deeper sense of inner calm. You might be wondering, but how do I let go? It's not something that happens overnight. It's a practice, one that requires patience and self-awareness. Start by paying attention to what you're attached to. Notice the things that trigger your anxiety or fear. Are they possessions, relationships, emotions, or even certain outcomes you expect in life? Once you identify what you're holding on to, ask yourself, what would happen if I let go of this attachment? Would I still be okay? Would my happiness depend on this thing? Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring about these things. It means you stop allowing them to control you. You stop allowing them to dictate your peace. It's like holding a beautiful flower in your hand. You can admire its beauty, but you don't need to grip it so tightly that it withers. You can appreciate it without holding on to it forever. In Buddhism, we learn that attachment causes suffering because it leads to desire, and desire leads to disappointment. Think about it. When we desire something, whether it's a possession, a relationship, or an outcome, we create an expectation. We expect to get what we want, and when that doesn't happen, we feel frustrated, angry, or sad. We suffer because we are attached to an outcome that's beyond our control. When we practice non-attachment, we stop attaching ourselves to specific outcomes. We learn to appreciate things as they are, without needing them to be anything different. This doesn't mean we stop striving for things we want in life. It means we strive with an open heart, free from the need for control, and free from the fear of losing what we've gained. There's another important aspect of attachment that often gets overlooked. It's the attachment to our own identity. Many of us hold on tightly to the idea of who we are. We identify with our roles, whether it's as a parent, a professional, or a friend, and we believe that these roles define us. We fear losing them because we think it would mean losing ourselves. But the truth is, we are not our roles. We are not the labels we put on ourselves. We are something much deeper, something more enduring than the fleeting roles we play. When we start to let go of these labels, we begin to see ourselves as we truly are. We are not our job, our relationship, or our past. We are beings capable of growth, change, and transformation. When we free ourselves from the attachment to our identity, we can embrace the present moment without fear of what might happen in the future. So, what does all this mean for you? It means that you have the power to stop suffering. You have the power to let go of the attachments that weigh you down, and in doing so, you create space for peace, happiness, and freedom. It's not easy, but it's possible. By practicing non-attachment, you begin to live more fully, without being held back by the things you thought you needed. You begin to see life not as something you have to control, but as something you can flow with, free, peaceful, and at ease. The Buddhist teachings offer us a path out of the cycle of suffering caused by attachment. By embracing impermanence, practicing mindfulness, and learning to let go, we can release the grip of attachment and experience true freedom. So, take a moment today and ask yourself, what am I holding on to that's causing me pain? What can I let go of to create space for peace? Start small, and over time, you'll begin to notice a shift in your mind and heart. The more you practice non-attachment, the more you'll understand the depth of its power. It's not about rejecting the world or the people in it. It's about accepting life as it is, without trying to force it into a mold of your own creation. When you can do that, you'll find a peace that comes from within, a peace that no external thing can ever take away. Remember, attachment creates suffering, but letting go creates freedom. The choice is yours. The power of letting go, releasing past hurts and resentments. The past has a way of lingering, doesn't it? Even when we try to move forward, memories of old hurts or mistakes seem to creep up, clouding our present moment. It could be a conversation that didn't go well, a decision we regret, or a relationship that ended poorly. We all have those moments when the past keeps calling us back, pulling us into emotions that no longer serve us. Have you ever felt like you couldn't let go of something from the past, even when you knew it was no longer relevant to your life today? In Buddhism, we learn that holding on to past hurts or resentments is like holding on to a heavy stone. It weighs us down, draining our energy and leaving us with little space for peace or joy. We keep replaying those painful moments in our minds, as though by holding on to them, we could somehow change them or make them right. But the truth is, the past is gone. No matter how much we dwell on it, we cannot change what has already happened. What we can change, however, is how we respond to it in the present. Letting go is not about forgetting or pretending that the hurt never happened. It's about freeing ourselves from the grip of that pain so that it no longer controls us. Think about it. How often do you find yourself reliving past mistakes or rehashing old arguments in your mind? Each time you do, you're allowing the past moment to steal your peace. You're allowing someone else's actions, or your own, to determine how you feel right now. This is where Buddhist teachings offer profound insight. The Buddha taught that attachment is the root of suffering. We often attach ourselves to people, events, and even our own thoughts in a way that keeps us trapped. When we are attached to the past, we are unable to live fully in the present. But the key to releasing that attachment is understanding that we can choose what we carry with us. We can choose to let go. When you let go of the past, it's like putting down a heavy burden that you've been carrying for far too long. It's like lifting a weight off your shoulders, allowing your body and mind to breathe again. You begin to notice the space it creates. In that space, peace and clarity can finally enter. You see, letting go is not just a mental exercise. It's a process that happens both inside and outside of you. It starts with the mind, but it also affects your body. When you let go of the tension in your mind, you release the tension in your body. You become lighter, freer, and more open to what's happening right now. Imagine what it would feel like if you could truly release all the negative energy tied to your past. What if, instead of carrying those old wounds with you, you chose to forgive not only others but also yourself? Imagine how much energy you would have to focus on the present moment, on creating new, positive experiences for yourself. Of course, this isn't always easy. Letting go requires us to face our pain, to acknowledge the hurt, and to accept that it's part of our story. But it doesn't have to define us. In Buddhism, there's a practice known as mindfulness, where we become fully aware of our thoughts, feelings, and sensations without judgment. By practicing mindfulness, we begin to notice when thoughts from the past arise. We can observe them without attaching to them, without allowing them to carry us away. We can simply acknowledge that these thoughts are there and choose to let them go. One powerful way to let go of the past is through forgiveness. Forgiveness doesn't mean that what happened was okay, or that the other person is excused from their actions. Forgiveness is about releasing yourself from the grip of resentment and anger. It's about giving yourself the freedom to move on, to create a new chapter in your life, and to find peace. You may think that forgiving someone who has wronged you means that you're letting them off the hook. But in reality, forgiveness is for you, not them. When you forgive, you take back your power. You stop letting someone else's actions control your emotions. You free yourself from the prison of bitterness and open the door to healing. Forgiveness can also be extended to yourself. Often, we are our own harshest critics. We hold on to guilt, regret, and self-blame, thinking that by punishing ourselves, we can somehow make things right. But the truth is, self-blame only keeps us stuck. It prevents us from moving forward and growing. If you want to let go of negative energy, you must learn to forgive yourself. You must learn to accept that you are human, that you make mistakes, and that you are worthy of love and compassion, even from yourself. Another way to release the past is through meditation. Meditation is a practice that allows us to slow down and connect with the present moment. It helps us detach from the stories we tell ourselves about the past and future, so we can simply be. Through meditation, we can observe our thoughts without getting caught up in them. We can let them come and go like clouds passing in the sky. This practice helps us develop a sense of inner peace, even when the world around us feels chaotic. Letting go is also about cultivating an attitude of impermanence. In Buddhism, we are taught that everything in life is temporary. Our emotions, our experiences, and even our relationships are all fleeting. This doesn't mean that they don't matter, but it helps us put things into perspective. When we realize that nothing lasts forever, it becomes easier to let go of the things that no longer serve us. We begin to see that holding on to past pain only prevents us from fully experiencing the present. Ultimately, letting go is an act of self-love. When you release the past, you're giving yourself permission to live fully in the present. You're creating space for new experiences, for new relationships, and for new opportunities. You're choosing peace over pain, joy over suffering, and freedom over fear. So, what would it feel like if you could truly let go of the past? What would it feel like to no longer be weighed down by old hurts, regrets, and fears? The answer lies within you. The choice to let go is yours. And with each step you take, you are one step closer to freeing your mind and your heart. Transforming thoughts. How mindfulness dissolves negativity. In the quiet of your mind, there is always a constant flow of thoughts. Some of them are calm and peaceful, like a gentle breeze, while others are harsh, like a storm. We often don't realize just how much these thoughts can influence our feelings and actions. Have you ever found yourself caught in a spiral of negative thinking? One thought leads to another, and before you know it, you're trapped in a cycle of worry, anger, or sadness. It's like being stuck in a dark room with no way out. But what if I told you that the key to breaking free from this cycle is not to fight the thoughts, but to simply observe them? This is the practice of mindfulness, a core teaching of Buddhism that can completely change the way you relate to your thoughts and emotions. Mindfulness is the ability to be fully present in the moment, without judgment. It means noticing your thoughts as they arise, without getting swept up in them. Instead of becoming angry when you have an angry thought, or anxious when you feel anxious, mindfulness teaches you to observe these feelings with a sense of curiosity and understanding. It's like watching the clouds float by in the sky, knowing that they will pass, just as your thoughts will. In the beginning, this might feel strange or difficult. We are so used to reacting to our thoughts, to allowing them to control our mood and behavior. But with practice, you begin to notice that thoughts are not facts. Just because you have a thought doesn't mean you have to believe it or act on it. For example, if you think, "I'm not good enough," that thought doesn't define you. It's just a passing cloud, a fleeting moment in time. By observing it, you take away its power over you. One of the most powerful things about mindfulness is that it allows you to step back and create space between you and your thoughts. This space is where freedom lies. When you observe a thought without judgment, you are no longer entangled in it. You can choose how to respond instead of reacting impulsively. It's like being in a movie theater, watching a film unfold on the screen. You are not part of the story, you are the observer. You can enjoy the movie, or if it's uncomfortable, you can simply leave the theater. The beauty of mindfulness is that it can be practiced anywhere, at any time. You don't need to sit in a quiet room or meditate for hours to benefit from it. It can be as simple as pausing for a moment in your day and taking a deep breath. You can practice mindfulness while eating, walking, or even during conversations. The key is to bring your full attention to the present moment without getting lost in the past or future. When you practice mindfulness, you start to notice the negative patterns in your mind. You might realize that you often have the same repetitive thoughts, or that certain situations always trigger strong emotions in you. This awareness is the first step in transforming your mind. Once you recognize these patterns, you can begin to change them. Instead of getting stuck in negative thinking, you can choose to shift your focus. You can replace thoughts of fear or doubt with thoughts of gratitude, love, and peace. It's important to remember that mindfulness is not about suppressing or denying your emotions. It's not about pushing away the sadness or anger when they arise. Rather, it's about acknowledging those emotions, accepting them, and allowing them to pass. Think of it like a river flowing through your mind. The water may be turbulent at times, but it always flows onward. By practicing mindfulness, you allow the water to flow freely, without getting stuck in the rapids of negative thought. In Buddhism, the concept of right thinking is closely tied to mindfulness. It teaches us that our thoughts shape our reality. If we constantly think negative thoughts, we are creating a negative world for ourselves. But if we choose to focus on positive thoughts, on kindness, compassion, and wisdom, we begin to create a world that reflects those qualities. Our thoughts are like seeds, and whatever we plant in our minds will eventually grow. If we plant seeds of negativity, we will harvest negativity. But if we plant seeds of love, patience, and understanding, we will harvest peace and joy. Mindfulness also helps us to recognize the impermanence of our thoughts and emotions. Nothing lasts forever, not even our most intense feelings. When you are in the middle of a difficult situation, it can feel like the negativity will never end. But with mindfulness, you start to realize that all things are temporary. Emotions rise and fall, just like the tide. This awareness can bring a sense of peace, knowing that no matter how difficult a moment may seem, it will pass. One of the most profound teachings of Buddhism is the idea that suffering arises from our attachment to things, whether they are people, possessions, or even our thoughts. When we hold on too tightly to our thoughts and emotions, we suffer. Mindfulness teaches us to let go of that attachment. When we stop clinging to our negative thoughts, they lose their power over us. We can let them go, and in doing so, we free ourselves from their grip. As you continue to practice mindfulness, you may begin to notice that your mind becomes calmer, clearer, and more peaceful. You might feel less reactive, less caught up in the ups and downs of life. Instead of being overwhelmed by your emotions, you start to feel more in control. Your mind becomes like a still pond, where the surface is calm and the water is clear. This is the power of mindfulness. It transforms your relationship with your thoughts and emotions, giving you the freedom to live with greater peace and clarity. It's important to remember that mindfulness is a practice, not a destination. There is no perfect state of mindfulness. There will always be moments when your mind wanders, when negative thoughts arise, or when emotions overwhelm you. And that's okay. The goal is not to achieve perfection, but to keep coming back to the present moment, again and again, with compassion and patience. Every time you return to the present moment, you are strengthening your mindfulness muscle, just like a muscle in your body that becomes stronger with practice. Over time, mindfulness becomes a way of life. It becomes your natural way of relating to the world. Instead of reacting to every situation with anger or fear, you respond with calm and clarity. Instead of being controlled by your thoughts, you are the master of your mind. You have the power to choose how you want to feel, how you want to think, and how you want to live. In the end, mindfulness is not just a tool for removing negative energy, it's a way to live in harmony with yourself and the world around you. It helps you to embrace the present moment, to find peace in the chaos, and to live with an open heart and a clear mind. And that is the true path to inner freedom and happiness. The energy around you, creating a positive inner and outer space. When you walk into a room, have you ever noticed how the energy of that room makes you feel? Some places lift your spirits, making you feel warm and comfortable, while others seem to drain your energy. There is a reason for this. Every space you enter carries a certain energy, just as you do. This energy, often invisible to the naked eye, can be incredibly powerful. It can influence your thoughts, emotions, and overall well-being. But what does this mean for your mind, and how can you create a space where peace and positivity flow freely? Let me tell you a story. There was once a man who lived in a small, cluttered apartment. The walls were covered in old newspapers, books piled high, and the floor was littered with things that no longer served him. Every time he entered the room, it felt heavy. His thoughts felt clouded, and his emotions seemed scattered. One day, a wise friend visited him. Without saying much, the friend looked around the apartment and suggested, "Maybe it's time to clear out the old things. Give your mind some space to breathe." At first, the man didn't understand. How could cleaning a room affect his mind? But he trusted his friend and began to clear out the clutter. He threw away old things, rearranged his furniture, and cleaned the space until it felt open and fresh. The next time he walked into the room, something amazing happened. He felt lighter. He felt a sense of calm he hadn't experienced in a long time. His mind, too, seemed clearer. That's when he realized it wasn't just the physical space that had changed. His mental space had also shifted. By clearing the clutter in his surroundings, he had also cleared the clutter in his mind. The connection between your external environment and your inner world is deep. If your surroundings are chaotic, disorganized, or filled with things that remind you of negative experiences, it can be very difficult for your mind to find peace. But when you create a space that is clean, simple, and filled with things that bring you joy and comfort, you are also creating a mental environment that nurtures positivity and calmness. Buddhism teaches us that everything is interconnected. The way we treat our environment can deeply affect the way we feel and think. The Buddha himself often spoke of the importance of creating a space for meditation, one that is free from distractions and filled with peace. It is said that when a monk enters a meditation hall, he must first purify his space, arranging the cushions, cleaning the room, and ensuring that everything is in order. This process is not just about tidying up, it's about creating a space where the mind can settle without distractions, where the energy of the room can support deep focus and clarity. Just as a cluttered room can make you feel anxious and uneasy, a clean and organized space can help your mind feel calm and centered. This doesn't mean that you need to live in a perfectly pristine environment, but it does mean that you should pay attention to the energy that your surroundings create. When you clear away the physical clutter, you may find that your mental clutter begins to fade as well. Now, consider this. What do you surround yourself with on a daily basis? Are there things in your home, workplace, or even on your phone that bring up negative feelings? Is there something in your environment that makes you anxious or reminds you of past pain? Sometimes we keep things in our space because we feel obligated to, or because we are holding on to memories tied to those objects. But holding on to physical items that represent negative energy can hold you back from moving forward and creating the positive space you truly need. It's essential to let go of things that no longer serve you. Whether it's old gifts that remind you of painful relationships, clothes you no longer wear, or items you hold onto out of guilt, these things can drain your energy. Think of them as emotional weights, each one adding a bit more burden to your mind. By releasing these objects, you free yourself from the past and make room for a more peaceful and joyful present. When you create a positive space around you, you also start to attract more positive energy. You may notice that as you clear the clutter, your thoughts become clearer. Your worries seem less overwhelming, and your emotions become more balanced. You begin to feel more connected to yourself and the world around you. This is the power of your environment. It's a reflection of your inner world, and when you take the time to nurture it, you create a ripple effect of positivity that can extend to every part of your life. It's not just about physical objects, either. The energy of the people around you also plays a huge role in shaping your environment. If you spend time with people who are negative or draining, it can be difficult for you to maintain a positive mindset. Their energy can impact yours, pulling you into negativity. This is why it's so important to choose the people you surround yourself with carefully. Buddhism teaches us that we should be mindful of the company we keep, for the energy of others can easily influence our own. If you want to create a peaceful mind, it's essential to be around people who lift you up, who support your growth, and who radiate positivity. This doesn't mean that you should cut off relationships with people who are struggling or in need of support. Compassion and kindness are core teachings of Buddhism, and it's important to help others when you can. However, you must also protect your own energy. Set healthy boundaries and make sure you are not constantly absorbing negative energy from others. If someone's presence consistently drains you, it may be time to reassess the relationship and consider how to protect your own peace. In addition to your physical environment and the people around you, your inner energy also plays a significant role in shaping the space you inhabit. The thoughts you think, the emotions you feel, and the way you speak all contribute to the energy you project. When you practice mindfulness, you begin to notice how your thoughts and emotions influence your environment. If you are filled with anger, frustration, or fear, that energy will radiate outwards, affecting everything and everyone around you. But if you cultivate calm, peace, and compassion within yourself, that energy will naturally spread, creating a positive atmosphere wherever you go. So, how can you begin to create a positive space for your mind? Start with small changes. Clean and organize your physical surroundings. Let go of things that no longer serve you. Surround yourself with things that bring you joy, beauty, and peace. But don't stop there. Pay attention to the people you spend time with, and make sure you are nurturing relationships that support your well-being. Lastly, work on cultivating positive energy within yourself. Practice mindfulness, focus on the present moment, and let go of negative thoughts and emotions. Creating a positive inner and outer space is not a one-time task. It's a continuous process of paying attention to the energy you surround yourself with and making intentional choices to create peace, harmony, and joy. But the more you do this, the more natural it will become. You will begin to notice that your mind feels clearer, your emotions more balanced, and your life more peaceful. This is the power of creating a space, both within and around you, that supports your growth, your happiness, and your well-being. The weight of words, overcoming negative self-talk and judgment. There's a voice in your head that's been there for as long as you can remember. It's the one that whispers, or sometimes shouts, the things you believe about yourself. It could be a voice of doubt, shame, or criticism. Maybe it says, "You're not good enough," or "You'll never succeed," or "Why even try?" Does that voice sound familiar? This voice often becomes the loudest when we're under pressure or facing difficult situations. It can seem like it's the only thing we hear, drowning out everything else around us. But what if I told you that this voice, these words, don't have to control you? What if you could take a step back and see them for what they really are, just words, mere thoughts that have no real power over you unless you give them power? Buddhism teaches us that our thoughts are like clouds in the sky. Sometimes, the clouds are heavy and dark, casting shadows over our mind. But just like clouds, these thoughts are temporary. They come and go. The problem arises when we hold on to them, when we let them define who we are. We identify with these thoughts, and before we know it, we start to believe them. We believe the negative things we say about ourselves, and this belief shapes our actions, our relationships, and our entire outlook on life. It's easy to get trapped in this cycle, especially when we've been telling ourselves the same things for years. We've grown so used to the judgment and negativity that we don't even notice it anymore. It's like a heavy weight we carry around, and we don't know how to put it down. But here's the thing, you are not your thoughts. You are not the negative words that you speak to yourself. In Buddhism, we are reminded of the concept of non-self, the idea that our true nature is not tied to the thoughts, emotions, or judgments that arise within us. These are not who you are. They are simply passing experiences, like waves in the ocean. They rise, and then they fall. If you learn to recognize them as temporary, you can stop identifying with them. Imagine what would happen if, instead of letting those negative words control you, you could choose to let them go. What if you could replace them with kinder, more loving words? It's not about pretending that everything is perfect or that you never make mistakes. It's about changing the way you talk to yourself, about being gentle and compassionate with yourself, especially in moments of weakness or struggle. Think about how you talk to others. When someone you care about is going through a tough time, do you criticize them or tell them they're not good enough? No, you likely offer words of support and encouragement. So why do we treat ourselves differently? Why do we allow ourselves to be so harsh, so unforgiving? Buddhism teaches that we should treat ourselves with the same kindness we offer to others. In fact, it is only by cultivating this inner kindness that we can begin to heal and transform the negativity in our minds. One powerful way to break free from negative self-talk is through mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in the moment, observing your thoughts and feelings without judgment. When you practice mindfulness, you become aware of the negative thoughts that arise, but you don't let them control you. You simply notice them and let them pass, like clouds drifting across the sky. For example, the next time you catch yourself thinking, "I'm not good enough," take a moment to pause and observe that thought. Don't try to fight it or push it away. Just notice it. Recognize that it's only a thought, not a fact. Then, gently remind yourself that you are enough, just as you are. Replace the negative thought with something kinder. It might take time, but with practice, you'll start to notice a shift in the way you speak to yourself. Another helpful practice is to focus on gratitude. When we're caught in a cycle of negative self-talk, it's easy to forget all the good things we have in our lives. But when you take the time to reflect on what you're grateful for, it shifts your perspective. Gratitude helps to soften the harshness of self-judgment and brings your focus to the positive aspects of your life. Try this. Each day, write down 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be big things. It could be something as simple as a warm cup of tea or a kind word from a friend. Over time, you'll find that your mind becomes more focused on the positive, and the negative thoughts will lose their power. It's also important to recognize that we are all human, and we all make mistakes. Mistakes are not a reflection of who we are. They are simply opportunities for growth. In Buddhism, there's a teaching called the Four Noble Truths, one of which is that suffering is a natural part of life. Suffering doesn't make us weak or unworthy. It makes us human, and it's through our struggles that we learn the most about ourselves and others. So when you make a mistake, instead of beating yourself up, treat yourself with compassion. Acknowledge the mistake, learn from it, and move forward. It's a process, and it's okay to take it one step at a time. It's also helpful to remember that you're not alone in this. We all have negative thoughts and struggles, even the most enlightened beings. What sets us apart is how we choose to deal with them. Do we let them define us, or do we choose to rise above them? In Buddhism, we are encouraged to develop a practice of self-awareness and self-compassion to transform our negative energy into something positive. The path may not always be easy, but with patience and persistence, we can begin to shift our inner dialogue and free ourselves from the weight of negative self-talk. The next time that critical voice shows up, remember, you are not your thoughts. You are not defined by the words you speak to yourself. You are a beautiful, unique soul, deserving of kindness, love, and peace. With each passing day, choose to speak to yourself with the same kindness you would offer a dear friend. Let go of the judgment, the criticism, and the harsh words. And in their place, invite compassion, patience, and understanding. It may take time, but with practice, you'll find that the weight of those negative words begins to lift. You'll start to feel lighter, freer, and more at peace with yourself. And when you let go of that heavy burden, you'll be able to step into your true potential, unencumbered by the weight of self-judgment and negativity. The power to transform your mind is in your hands, and it begins with the words you choose to speak to yourself. The path of compassion, how kindness purifies the mind. Imagine for a moment that you are standing in front of someone who has hurt you deeply. The pain is still fresh, the words they spoke echoing in your mind. You feel the weight of anger and resentment building inside you. But now, take a deep breath. In that moment, what if you could look at them with a different perspective, not through the lens of your hurt, but with compassion? What if, instead of clinging to your pain, you could soften your heart and extend kindness, even in the face of such hurt? This is the power of compassion, and it's one of the most profound tools we have to purify our minds from negative energy. Compassion is not about ignoring the wrongs done to us, nor is it about pretending everything is fine when it's not. Compassion is about seeing beyond the hurt, recognizing the shared humanity in all of us, and understanding that we all carry pain in different ways. You see, when we hold on to anger, resentment, and bitterness, we are only hurting ourselves. These emotions poison our minds, making it harder to experience peace and joy. But when we choose to respond with compassion, we let go of the negative energy that has taken root in our hearts. It's like clearing the fog from a window, allowing the light of peace and understanding to shine through. But how can we practice compassion in our daily lives? It's simple, really. The first step is to recognize that everyone has their struggles. Just as we have our moments of weakness, others too are carrying their own burdens, even if we don't see them. People hurt us, not because they want to cause pain, but because they are struggling with their own pain. When you start to view others through this lens, your anger begins to soften, and you see them not as enemies, but as fellow travelers on the difficult path of life. And it's not just about how we treat others. It's also about how we treat ourselves. Compassion begins with self-compassion. If you find yourself holding on to guilt, regret, or shame, ask yourself, would I treat a loved one this way? Would I speak to them with the same harshness and judgment I direct at myself? No. So why do we think it's okay to be so cruel to ourselves? Compassion for yourself means forgiving your mistakes, understanding your limitations, and giving yourself permission to heal. When you start practicing compassion, the results are immediate. You begin to feel lighter. You may notice that you no longer carry the weight of past grudges or negative feelings. Your mind becomes clearer, and you can approach life with more peace and equanimity. Compassion isn't just a feeling, it's a way of being. It's about cultivating a mindset that sees the goodness in others, even when they don't show it, and recognizing that the most healing thing you can do is offer love and understanding, both to yourself and to others. As we look at the teachings of Buddhism, we learn that compassion is at the heart of all spiritual growth. The Buddha himself spoke of loving kindness as a way to transform suffering into joy. He taught that by cultivating a compassionate heart, we can begin to free ourselves from the attachments that bind us to negative thoughts and emotions. When we hold on to hate, we remain stuck in the past. But when we let go and choose love, we free ourselves to experience the present moment with clarity and peace. This is why compassion is such a powerful force in removing negative energy from the mind. It shifts our focus from our pain to the possibility of healing. It helps us break the cycle of suffering that keeps us trapped in resentment and anger. Through compassion, we can begin to break free from the chains of negativity and open ourselves up to a life filled with peace, joy, and connection. It's important to remember that compassion is not about excusing harmful behavior or allowing ourselves to be mistreated. It's about understanding that everyone is struggling in their own way and that, ultimately, we are all interconnected. Compassion helps us rise above petty grievances and see the bigger picture, the truth that we are all on this journey together. It allows us to hold others in their pain, without carrying their burden ourselves. The practice of compassion is like a muscle. The more we exercise it, the stronger it becomes. And it doesn't take grand gestures or heroic acts to practice compassion. Sometimes, it's as simple as offering a kind word to someone who's struggling, listening with an open heart, or offering a smile to a stranger. These small acts of kindness ripple out, creating waves of positive energy that can transform not only our minds, but also the world around us. When you live with compassion, you begin to see the world differently. You notice the small acts of kindness that often go unnoticed. The way a child helps their sibling, the smile of a stranger, the soft words of encouragement from a friend. Compassion helps you recognize that, even in a world filled with challenges, there is still goodness and light. You begin to appreciate the little things that bring joy and connection, and you no longer feel so weighed down by negativity. As you continue on this path of compassion, you will notice changes within yourself. You'll feel more at ease in your relationships, more patient with yourself, and more understanding of others. Your heart will soften, and your mind will begin to clear of the clutter that once filled it with judgment, resentment, and anger. You'll start to experience a deep sense of peace, not because the world has changed, but because you have chosen to see it differently. Compassion is a powerful tool for purifying the mind, but it's not always easy. It takes time, practice, and a willingness to open your heart, even when it feels difficult. But as you continue to practice, you'll find that the more you give, the more you receive. Compassion is a cycle of healing that has no end, and the more you pour out, the more space you create for peace, love, and positivity to flow into your life. In the end, the path of compassion is not just about changing the world around us. It's about changing ourselves. It's about transforming our hearts and minds so that we can live in harmony with ourselves, with others, and with the world. By practicing compassion, we remove the negative energy that clouds our thoughts and open ourselves up to the beauty and serenity that lies within. Karma and energy. How your actions shape your mental state. In this world, everything is connected. Our actions, words, and thoughts all create ripples that spread through our lives and beyond. The law of karma teaches us that everything we do comes back to us in some form. If we want to remove negative energy from our minds, it's important to first understand how our actions shape the mental state we carry every day. Imagine, for a moment, that you are holding a stone in your hand. Every time you do something with kindness, understanding, and compassion, it's like you are placing a beautiful pebble in your pocket. You feel lighter, more at peace, and this positive energy begins to fill your heart. But when you act out of anger, jealousy, or resentment, it's like you're adding a heavy stone to your pocket. Over time, these stones weigh you down, leaving your mind cluttered, uneasy, and full of negativity. This is the effect of karma, the principle that all actions, whether good or bad, create energy that returns to us. In Buddhism, karma isn't about punishment or reward. It's simply the result of what we put out into the world. If we wish to clear away negative energy, we must begin by cultivating positive actions. Every small act of kindness, every thoughtful word, every moment of patience contributes to a lighter, more peaceful mind. But how do we begin? The first step is awareness. Think of the last time you were in a difficult situation. Did you react with anger or frustration, or did you respond with patience and understanding? Often, we don't even realize how our reactions can create negative energy. We may blame others, judge situations harshly, or act impulsively. These actions only add more weight to our mental state. But once we become aware of how our actions affect our inner peace, we can start making different choices. Let's say you're in a conversation, and someone says something that upsets you. In that moment, you have a choice. You can either respond with anger, creating more negative energy for yourself and the other person, or you can take a deep breath and choose to respond with kindness. Even if you don't agree with the other person, showing compassion and understanding will create a much lighter feeling in your heart. This is the power of conscious actions. Now, think of karma as a mirror. Every time you act out of kindness, love, and understanding, The reflection you see in this mirror is peaceful and clear. But when you act out of anger, jealousy, or negativity, the reflection becomes clouded and your mind becomes heavy. Karma doesn't judge. It simply reflects the energy we create. If we want to remove negative energy from our minds, we must begin by clearing our actions. The more positive energy we create through our actions, the more we begin to transform our internal landscape. Every kind gesture, every act of patience, and every moment of understanding becomes like a drop of water washing away the dust and dirt from a calm pond. Over time, the more positive energy we put out, the more peaceful and clear our minds become. It's not just about big actions either. Small, everyday moments matter. When you smile at a stranger, help someone without expecting anything in return, or simply take a moment to be present with those around you, you are cultivating positive karma. These small actions may seem insignificant, but they have a profound impact on the energy in your life. They build up, creating a strong foundation of positive energy that can change the way you feel from the inside out. But there is a challenge that many of us face. In today's world, it's easy to fall into the trap of reacting impulsively. The pressure of daily life, the demands of work, and the stress of personal struggles often make us react without thinking. We may get caught in the cycle of judgment, frustration, and anger. But when we act from a place of mindfulness, we break this cycle. Mindfulness allows us to pause before reacting, to choose our actions with awareness, and to avoid creating more negative energy. It's through this awareness that we can clear away the clutter in our minds. If you are struggling with negative energy right now, take a moment to reflect on your actions. Have they been contributing to your inner peace, or have they been adding weight to your heart? Remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about making conscious choices. You don't have to change everything overnight. Start small, with little moments of kindness and understanding. Gradually, you will notice a shift in your energy and in the way you feel. As you begin to act from a place of compassion, patience, and love, you'll find that your mind becomes less clouded. You'll feel lighter, more at peace with yourself, and more connected to the world around you. Karma isn't something that happens to us. It's something we create with every thought, word, and action. By taking responsibility for our actions, we take control of the energy in our lives. This is the essence of karma. We are not victims of our circumstances, but creators of our own energy. Every time we act with awareness and compassion, we create positive energy that helps to clear away the negative. By living consciously and mindfully, we can begin to transform our lives from the inside out. So, ask yourself today, how can you shift your actions to create more positive energy in your life? What small, kind acts can you incorporate into your daily routine? It's the small changes that add up over time, shaping the energy in our minds and in our hearts. The more positive energy we create through our actions, the more we begin to experience the peace and clarity we seek. And as we clear away the negative energy, we open ourselves up to a deeper sense of freedom. Finding stillness, the role of meditation in clearing negativity. There are times in life when the mind feels like a storm, a swirl of thoughts, worries, fears, and doubts, all crashing together. It's like trying to find a moment of peace while everything around you is in chaos. If you've ever felt this way, you're not alone. Many people experience this overwhelming mental clutter, and it can be incredibly draining. The challenge, then, is how to find calm amidst this turmoil. How do we clear our minds and find stillness when it feels like everything is pulling us in different directions? This is where meditation, as taught in Buddhism, can become a powerful tool for clearing away negativity and finding inner peace. Imagine for a moment that your mind is like a pond. On the surface, the water is stirred up, muddy and turbulent, making it hard to see anything clearly beneath. But if you allow the pond to settle, if you leave it alone for a while, the water becomes still and clarity returns. The same happens with your mind. When you meditate, you give your mind the space to settle, to calm down, and to find a moment of peace. You might wonder, how can simply sitting quietly help clear my mind? It sounds too simple, doesn't it? But the simplicity of meditation is exactly what makes it so effective. Meditation doesn't require special skills or knowledge. It's a practice of presence, of being in the moment, and allowing the mind to let go of everything that clutters it. It's a way of training your mind to focus, to quiet the noise, and to reconnect with the calm and stillness that already resides within you. At first, meditation might feel strange. Your thoughts might race, and it may seem like your mind refuses to settle. You might even wonder if you're doing it right. But with practice, meditation becomes easier. You begin to notice those small moments of calm that you can carry with you throughout your day. It's in these moments of stillness that the mind finds healing and that negative energy begins to dissolve. One of the key teachings in Buddhism is that suffering arises from attachment. We attach ourselves to thoughts, memories, worries, and fears which weigh us down. Meditation helps us detach from these thoughts. It's not about forcing them away or trying to ignore them. Rather, it's about observing them without judgment and letting them float away like leaves on a stream. The more you practice, the less power these negative thoughts and emotions have over you. They don't control you anymore. You simply notice them and let them go. The beauty of meditation lies in its ability to create space between your thoughts and your reactions. Imagine a moment when something triggers you, and instead of reacting immediately, you pause. You take a deep breath, and you create a space where you can choose how to respond. This is the gift of meditation. It teaches you not to be a slave to your thoughts and emotions, but to become the observer, the one who can step back and choose a more peaceful path. In Buddhism, meditation is often described as a path to enlightenment. But you don't need to be a Buddhist to experience its benefits. Meditation is universal, accessible to anyone who is willing to sit in stillness and be present with their thoughts. Over time, you'll notice that your thoughts don't control you the way they once did. The negative energy that used to flood your mind starts to dissipate, and in its place, you find clarity, calm, and peace. Another important aspect of meditation is its ability to help us connect with the present moment. Most of the time, we are either dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. We replay old conversations in our minds, or we worry about what's going to happen tomorrow. Meditation brings us back to the now. It teaches us to appreciate this very moment, just as it is, without needing it to be any different. It's in the present moment that we find true peace, because the past is gone and the future hasn't arrived yet. The only reality we have is now, and meditation helps us fully experience and embrace it. In the beginning, meditation might seem like a small thing, a simple practice that doesn't promise instant results. But as you continue, you'll notice the profound changes it brings to your life. Your ability to stay calm in difficult situations improves. Your reactions become more measured, more thoughtful, and less influenced by negative emotions. You begin to feel more grounded, more centered, and more connected to the peaceful energy within you. You don't need to meditate for hours every day to experience these benefits. Even a few minutes each day can make a significant difference. Start with just 5 or 10 minutes. Sit in a comfortable position, close your eyes, and focus on your breath. When your mind wanders, gently bring it back to your breath. Don't judge yourself for getting distracted. This is part of the process. With time, you'll notice that your mind becomes more peaceful and the negative energy that once filled your thoughts begins to fade away. In Buddhism, the goal of meditation is not to achieve perfection, but to cultivate awareness and mindfulness. It's about being present with whatever arises, without judgment or attachment. As you practice, you'll start to notice how this awareness extends beyond your meditation practice and into your daily life. You'll find that you're able to respond to situations with more clarity, patience, and wisdom. The impact of meditation on clearing negative energy is profound. It allows you to let go of past hurts, release fear, and break free from the patterns of negative thinking that have held you back for so long. It's a path to freedom, a path to peace. And while it may take time, the more you practice, the more you'll experience the benefits. Negative energy doesn't have to control you. With the practice of meditation, you have the power to create space, to find stillness, and to embrace the peaceful, positive energy that resides within you. So, if you're ready to begin, don't worry about being perfect. Just start where you are. Every moment of meditation is a step toward a clearer, more peaceful mind. Keep practicing, and over time, you will see just how transformative this practice can be in removing the negative energy from your mind. Embracing change, how impermanence frees you from mental burdens. Imagine you're holding a glass of water. It's clear, still, and simple. But then, slowly, you begin to add small drops of ink, one by one. The water turns darker and darker, and eventually, it becomes hard to see through. What started as something pure and simple is now clouded, just like your mind when it's filled with worries and negative thoughts. This is what happens when we resist change. In life, we are constantly moving forward, whether we realize it or not. Everything around us changes. The seasons shift, relationships evolve, our own thoughts and feelings transform. Yet, as human beings, we often try to hold on to things. We cling to the past, to people, to familiar situations. We become so attached to what was or what we think should be, that we miss the beauty of what is happening right now. This attachment brings suffering. In Buddhism, there is a fundamental teaching that everything is impermanent. Everything changes. And in accepting this truth, we find freedom. The more we resist change, the heavier we feel. It's as if we are carrying a bag of stones on our back, each stone representing something we refuse to let go of, an old hurt, a disappointment, a failed expectation. We add more and more to this bag until it feels unbearable. But the moment we begin to accept that everything changes, we start to release the weight we've been carrying. This doesn't mean that we stop caring about the important things in life. It means we start to understand that nothing lasts forever. People come and go, circumstances shift, and life moves forward whether we're ready for it or not. When we resist, we suffer. But when we accept the natural flow of life, we open ourselves to peace. It's like standing under the rain. You can stand there, trying to avoid the drops, or you can embrace the rain, let it wash over you, and feel the refreshment it brings. Change, like rain, can nourish you if you let it. When we accept impermanence, we begin to let go of the need to control everything. We stop trying to fix what's already gone and start focusing on the present moment. We stop holding on to regrets about the past and fears about the future. Instead, we start living fully, embracing what is, without clinging to it. It's like being a tree in the wind. The tree doesn't fight the wind, it bends with it. It doesn't try to hold on to the leaves when they fall. It lets them go, knowing that new ones will grow in their place. Imagine if you could live like that, free from the weight of clinging, unburdened by the need to control. How light would you feel? How much clearer would your mind be? The truth is, every time we release something, a thought, a belief, an attachment, we make space for something new. This is where growth happens. This is where wisdom arises. In Buddhism, it's not just about letting go of the past, but also about accepting the future without fear. We fear what we cannot predict or control. But the future, just like the past, is part of the flow of impermanence. When we accept it, we stop fearing it. We learn to flow with life rather than struggle against it. This brings peace to our minds, and it also brings a sense of freedom. When you understand that everything changes, you stop worrying so much about what will happen tomorrow. You start to focus on what you can control today. And even if things don't go as planned, you can face them with a sense of acceptance. You understand that this moment, just like all others, will pass. And with that understanding, you begin to enjoy the moment for what it is, without constantly fearing what will happen next. Think about how much mental energy we waste by resisting change. We worry about what might happen. We stress over the things we cannot control. We hold on to the past, wishing things were different. But when we accept impermanence, all that energy is freed up. Instead of fighting, we begin to live more fully in the present. Instead of worrying, we begin to trust that life will unfold as it's meant to, and we will adapt along the way. It's not always easy to let go. Our minds are conditioned to hold on, to seek stability and control. But the more we practice, the easier it becomes. Meditation is one of the most powerful tools to help us embrace impermanence. When you sit in silence, you begin to notice how everything changes: your thoughts, your feelings, your breath. You start to see that nothing is permanent, and in that realization, you begin to let go of your attachment to things being a certain way. As you sit with your breath, you can also sit with your thoughts. Notice them as they come and go, like clouds in the sky. Don't try to hold on to any particular thought. Just let them drift away. When you start practicing in this way, you train your mind to let go of the constant need for control. You begin to see that life itself is constantly changing, and you are part of that flow. The beauty of accepting impermanence is that it opens the door to new possibilities. When we stop resisting change, we start to see opportunities we might have missed before. We become more adaptable, more resilient. We start to embrace life's ups and downs, knowing that they are all part of our journey. Each change, each shift, is an opportunity for growth. Imagine looking at a difficult situation and instead of feeling frustrated, you feel a sense of curiosity. What can I learn from this? You might ask. How will this help me grow? When you embrace impermanence, challenges become lessons. They are no longer things to fear, but opportunities to transform. So, next time life throws you a curveball, instead of resisting, try to embrace it. Understand that this moment, too, will pass. By accepting impermanence, you free yourself from mental burdens. You stop carrying the weight of what was, and you open yourself to the freedom of what is. Life flows like a river, and the more you flow with it, the lighter you become. Remember, the trees let go of their leaves in autumn, and they grow new ones in the spring. In the same way, you can let go of the things that no longer serve you, and you will make room for new growth. The more you embrace impermanence, the more you will experience the freedom of living fully in each moment. The art of gratitude, shifting focus to invite positive energy. Life can sometimes feel heavy. We are so often caught up in our struggles, our challenges, the things that went wrong, and the things that haven't gone the way we hoped. We forget to notice the small blessings, the moments of peace, the kindness of others, and the beauty of the world around us. It's so easy to focus on what we don't have, that we overlook the abundance already in our lives. But what if there was a way to shift your mind, to turn your attention to the positive, and in doing so, transform the energy within you? Imagine waking up every day with a heart full of gratitude. Picture yourself starting your morning by thanking the universe for another day, for your breath, for your health, and for the love and support of those around you. Imagine looking at the world through the lens of appreciation instead of criticism. This practice is called gratitude, and it has the power to change everything about the way we experience life. Buddhism teaches us that our minds are incredibly powerful. They shape our perception of the world and our reality. The thoughts we hold, the way we react to situations, the way we see ourselves, it all comes from the energy we cultivate in our minds. When we focus on gratitude, we create an energy field around us that invites more positive experiences into our lives. Gratitude is not just about being thankful for the good things. It is about recognizing the value in everything, even the challenges and difficulties. It is seeing every experience as an opportunity for growth, learning, and evolution. Have you ever noticed how much lighter you feel when you focus on the good things? The simple act of noticing the small blessings can lift your spirits and transform your outlook on life. It can be as simple as a kind word from a stranger, a cup of tea shared with a friend, or the warmth of the sun on your face. These moments, when recognized and appreciated, can fill your heart with warmth and joy. They shift your focus away from what's wrong and bring you back to the present moment. But gratitude doesn't stop at just being thankful for the big things. It's the small, everyday moments that can have the greatest impact. When we focus on the little joys of life, we invite more of that energy into our reality. It's the smile of a loved one, the sound of birds singing in the morning, the quiet moments of peace we experience when we take a break from the chaos of life. These small things, when appreciated, can turn our minds away from negativity and bring us into a state of peace and contentment. The Buddha often spoke of the importance of cultivating a peaceful mind. He taught that a mind filled with gratitude is a mind that is free from greed, hatred, and delusion. It is a mind that can see the beauty in everything, even in the face of hardship. Gratitude is the antidote to suffering because it helps us recognize the good in our lives, no matter how small. It reminds us that we are not alone, that we have so much to be thankful for, and that there is beauty in every moment. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to become distracted by the noise around us. We are constantly bombarded with information, expectations, and demands. But when we take the time to slow down and reflect on what we are grateful for, we give our minds the space to rest and rejuvenate. Gratitude is like a breath of fresh air for the soul. It clears away the fog of negativity and makes room for peace, joy, and clarity. When you choose to focus on gratitude, you are consciously inviting positive energy into your life. And as this energy grows, it begins to transform the way you experience the world. Have you ever heard the phrase, "What you focus on expands"? It is so true. The more you focus on gratitude, the more you will find to be thankful for. It's like a snowball effect. The more you notice, the more you begin to see. It's the little things that add up, that make life richer and more meaningful. Gratitude helps you see the richness of your life, even in the midst of challenges. One of the most powerful ways to practice gratitude is through a daily gratitude ritual. This doesn't have to be complicated. It can be as simple as taking a moment each morning to reflect on 3 things you are grateful for. Maybe it's the warmth of your home, the support of your family, or the opportunity to learn and grow. Or perhaps it's the simple gift of being alive. In the evening, you can reflect on your day, acknowledging the moments of gratitude that arose throughout your day. This practice doesn't need to be long or elaborate. The key is consistency. As you begin to cultivate this practice, you may notice that your mind becomes less focused on what's wrong and more focused on what's right. You might find yourself noticing beauty in places you've never seen before. You might start to feel more connected to the people around you, and more at peace with yourself. Gratitude shifts your energy from a state of lack to a state of abundance. It helps you realize that no matter what challenges you face, there is always something to be grateful for. But it's not just about what you notice, it's also about how you respond. Gratitude teaches you to respond to life's difficulties with a sense of acceptance and peace. When things don't go as planned, instead of reacting with frustration or anger, you can pause, breathe, and find something to be grateful for in that moment. Maybe it's the lesson you learned, or the strength you gained, or the opportunity to grow. Gratitude doesn't mean ignoring difficulties, but rather seeing them in a new light, with a sense of understanding and appreciation. The more you practice gratitude, the more you will begin to attract positive energy into your life. It's like planting seeds in a garden. The more you plant, the more your garden will grow. Gratitude is the same way. The more you give thanks for the good things in your life, the more good things will come your way. It's the universe's way of rewarding your positive energy. And as you continue this practice, you'll notice that your mind becomes clearer, your heart becomes lighter, and your spirit becomes more at peace. The Buddha taught that happiness is not something that is given to us from the outside, but something that we create within ourselves. Gratitude is one of the most powerful tools we have to create happiness. When we choose to focus on the positive, we align ourselves with the flow of life. We stop resisting and start accepting. We begin to see the world as it is, full of beauty, full of love, full of blessings. So, take a moment to reflect on your life. What are you grateful for today? Can you see the beauty in the small things? When you make gratitude a habit, it transforms not only your mind, but your entire life. It's a practice that brings peace, joy, and abundance into every moment. Let gratitude be your guide as you navigate the ups and downs of life. Let it shift your focus from what is lacking to what is abundant. Let it open your heart to the richness of the world around you. And let it remind you that, no matter what, there is always something to be thankful for. A renewed mind, living with peace, wisdom, and inner light. We've come a long way on this journey, haven't we? We've explored how negative energy can creep into our minds, how it affects our lives, and most importantly, how we can remove it using simple, powerful teachings from Buddhism. Now, it's time to understand how all of this leads to a renewed mind, a mind that is filled with peace, wisdom, and inner light. Imagine waking up each day with a mind free from the clutter of negativity. Imagine starting your morning not with worries or regrets, but with a deep sense of calm. How would that change your day? How would it affect your interactions with others, your work, and even your health? This is the transformation we're talking about. The practices we've discussed, such as mindfulness, meditation, and compassion, lead to a peaceful mind, a mind that is clear, present, and filled with light. But how does this renewal happen? It begins with understanding that our thoughts are not permanent. They come and go. They may seem overwhelming at times, but they do not define us. The key is to stop identifying with every thought and feeling. You are not your anger, your sadness, or your fear. These are just temporary states that arise, like clouds passing through the sky. When you let go of the attachment to these emotions, you create space for something more powerful, peace. Buddhism teaches us that our true nature is peaceful. Underneath the layers of negative energy, worries, and thoughts, there is a stillness, a calmness that is always present. It's like the ocean. No matter how rough the surface is, the depths remain calm. You have the ability to tap into this calm, no matter what happens in your external world. The more you practice, the more this peace becomes a permanent part of your being. But peace is not just about sitting in silence. It's about carrying that peace with you throughout your day. It's about being present in every moment, not lost in the past or worrying about the future. When you are truly present, you begin to experience life as it is, not through the filter of your negative thoughts, but in its purest form. Every moment becomes a chance to appreciate, to breathe, and to feel connected to everything around you. In the midst of daily challenges, this peace becomes your anchor. You no longer react impulsively to situations or people. Instead, you respond with wisdom and understanding. You understand that life is full of ups and downs, but none of these external circumstances can disturb your inner peace. It's as if you have found a deep well of stillness within, one that no storm can shake. But how does wisdom fit into all of this? Wisdom is the ability to see things as they truly are. It's the ability to understand that everything in life is impermanent. Our thoughts, our emotions, our situations. When you truly understand this, you stop clinging to things. You stop holding on to anger, pain, or fear because you realize they are just passing clouds. You begin to see life with a new clarity. What once seemed like a problem is now seen as an opportunity for growth. What once caused you stress now becomes an invitation to practice patience and understanding. And then there's the light of awareness, the light of compassion. This light comes from within, and it shines brightly when we remove the darkness of negativity. It is a light that helps us see ourselves and others with kindness. It helps us forgive, let go, and move forward. This light is not something you need to search for outside of yourself. It's always been there, waiting for you to acknowledge it. But this light also grows stronger when we share it with others. As we become more peaceful and wise, we naturally begin to extend that peace and wisdom to those around us. We become a beacon of calm, a source of light for those who may be struggling with their own negative energy. And in helping others find peace, we too are transformed. There's something beautiful that happens when we truly live with peace, wisdom, and light. Our relationships improve. We find ourselves less affected by other people's actions. We become more compassionate, more understanding, and less judgmental. We begin to see others not as problems to be fixed, but as fellow travelers on this journey of life. We see them with love, not through the lens of anger or resentment. And let's not forget about the impact on our health. When the mind is filled with negativity, the body often suffers. Stress, anxiety, and depression take a toll on our physical well-being. But when we clear away the negative energy in our minds, we also create space for healing. We become less stressed, more balanced, and more at peace with ourselves. Our bodies respond to this peace, and we begin to feel lighter, both physically and emotionally. Living with peace, wisdom, and light doesn't mean that life becomes perfect. Challenges will still come, but it means that we approach these challenges with a different mindset. We no longer feel defeated by them. Instead, we see them as opportunities to practice everything we've learned. We become stronger, more resilient, and more capable of handling whatever comes our way. This is the power of a renewed mind. A mind that is no longer weighed down by negative energy, but is free, clear, and open to the possibilities of life. A mind that is constantly growing, learning, and evolving. This is the life that Buddhism invites us to live, a life filled with peace, wisdom, and light. So, as we conclude this journey together, I invite you to take a moment to reflect. How has this journey impacted you? What changes do you feel in your own mind, your own heart? Can you feel the peace beginning to settle in? Can you sense the wisdom that is now available to you? Can you feel the light of awareness shining brighter than before? Remember, the power to transform your mind and your life is always within you. It's not something you need to seek outside of yourself. It's a process, a practice, and a way of being. It's something you can choose every single day. Each moment is an opportunity to remove the negative energy from your mind and replace it with peace, wisdom, and light. Thank you for being part of this journey with us on Wisdom Woven. Your support, your presence, and your commitment to personal growth means so much. If you found value in this video, please consider subscribing to our channel, liking, commenting, and sharing. Your engagement helps us reach more people who can benefit from these teachings. And please, don't forget to share your thoughts with us in the comments. What has this journey taught you? How are you beginning to remove the negative energy from your mind? We'd love to hear from you and continue this conversation with you. With peace, wisdom, and light, may you continue on your path toward a mind that is free from negativity and filled with all the possibilities of a beautiful, peaceful life.